we talked a little bit about the Four Nations yesterday or a couple days ago, but I'm curious. Did you watch Urho specifically, and if so, just how did you think he played for Finland while he was there?
I watched some of them in the U.S. game. I didn't see Finland, Sweden. But I talked to him about it. He really enjoyed the experience. I think it's great for him to put himself on the map like that. I think he's come here and he's played really well for us. He's a real good defender, great kid, and has fit in really well with us. But he's a real good defender that closes quick and plays with a little bit of attitude out there. And I think he's come in here and played really well for us. So it's nice that he got recognized to be a part of that, and I'm glad I'm sure. I did talk to him about it a little bit. I think when you're not playing tonight, you wish things went a little bit better for your team. But it's really, I think it's a good nod to him for being selected to that team.
As far as that goes, you didn't have Mika today. Everything okay with him?
Yeah, I mean he skated this morning. I'm assuming he'll be with us tomorrow in practice.
And logistically, the guys that are playing tonight will meet you in Buffalo, or will they come here first?
Probably meet us in Buffalo.
You spoke the other day about how the lineup looked at the end of the break and the reasons for that, or right before the break, I should say, and the reasons for that. Generally, like as you're thinking about what it's going to look like coming out, I mean, when Miller was with Panarin and Mika, it looked like they had some good games, kind of stacking a lot of talent on one line there. I mean, do you like that thinking about moving forward, or is more of a balanced approach?
No, I do like it. We're coming out with 3 games in 4 days. We're coming out off a break where we haven't played in a while. Coming off a game where 4 of our guys have played extensively, and a couple of the guys have played some as well through this break. When we do play the back-to-back, the opponent plays the night before as well. And so there's things that factor into that. It was just a decision that we made for that game. I'm not saying that we will or won't go back to it, but for that night it served the purpose. I also like the line with when Mika was up there with JT and Panarin. I thought that was a real good line for us and effective. And so I'm sure you'll see that together this year again.
Mm-hmm. Because it does, I guess just thinking about, if you have the 3 centers with Mika in the middle, right, it feels like those 3 lines, you could probably feel comfortable rolling them out against pretty much anybody. So that's a nice thing to be able to do. But on the other hand,
that was part of the mindset going in there where we didn't have the change and we were playing a team that was, fresh and ready. They didn't play the night before, and just trying to level that just to get a lot of minutes out of the lines, just to balance them out completely. By the numbers, one of the better lines that night was Carrick, Rempe, and Riley Smith, and so they went out and they generated scoring chances, and they got behind the D. They had a couple breakaways, partial breakaways, and scoring chances. They did a real good job.
I know that you're on a temporary basis, but do you feel the Hartford guys have taken advantage of being up here for these couple of days?
I think that they worked extremely hard. You wouldn't know that anybody didn't fit in out there. I thought they looked great. I mean, they both have had a little bit of experience here. They're young players. I think that they're trying to, crack that and break through that. And they're close. They're the top players down there. And I do think it's good that they come up here and practice with us for a couple of days. We had openings and slots, and you can see that they're both skate well and they compete and they fit right in out there. So I think it's a good thing for them.
Igor obviously made it through the whole practice today. I'm sure that was the plan all along. How does he look, and what do you expect from him? In terms of this last 27 games or whatever.
Well, I expect him to be in practice tomorrow, and then available for us for the weekend.
He was pretty critical of himself, just how his season's gone so far. When we just talked to him, what have you thought of his play this year?
I mean, we as a group, can be a little bit critical of where we sit. It has not been an easier season for us, and I think sometimes players look at that in their own personal games as well, and yet we had a good start to the season. We had a decent January 1 until now. We got lost a little bit in the middle, and really it's going to come down to how we finish. And I don't think we could have any more confidence in our goaltender than we do, both goaltenders, to be honest. And we're in a good spot with that. So we've got we've got to play well down the stretch, and we've got to win hockey games. And that's more than just the goaltenders. That's everybody. We come off of this break here. We come out of that Four Nations. We got to hit the ground running, and we got to be ready to win some games.
For him, the highs have been very high this year, and the lows have been pretty low. Is there a consistency that you think can be there for him?
I think it's got to be there for everybody. And so, again, sometimes goaltending is a reflection of the way the team's playing in front of you. And I've said that on several nights where I just don't think we gave our goaltenders the support that they needed. But we're going to need everybody to play at a high level. There's no question about that. If we're going to continue to push down the stretch, I think there's 27 games? 27 games left. We're going to have to push on a consistent basis and take down wins.
Igor, last year, the All-Star break I think you gave him a couple games off leading into it, and he had this little reset period. That seemed to benefit him a lot. Do you think this kind of time off, and obviously he's maybe back up for an injury, so it's not a one-to-one comparison, but
yeah, I mean, it's not a one-to-one for that reason alone, where he's away, he's off, and I do think getting in and getting some work here has been good, but it's not an exact comparison just based on the circumstances.
With the amount of games you have left, with where you sit in the standings, trade deadline now just about 2 weeks away. I think from tomorrow it'll be 2 weeks away. Coming out of the break, does it feel like an opportunity to kind of show management we've stabilized, we're in this race, we're going for it? Like, does it feel like hitting the ground running is especially important given all that?
I think it's definitely important. It's and I do think we've shown that as well. But that part of the season is over. The break's over, and now we're presented with the final stretch here. And so, for sure, I think that there's a lot of teams where probably what you're saying is true. The eyes are on them, and you got to produce. Thanks, guys.